Our next guest took a job just to really kind of fix her resume, pad her resume a little bit. 3 months in, she tells herself, wait a minute, I may actually want to run this place. Dr. Chantelle Taylor, thank you so much. You walk into a place thinking that it was just going to be maybe a couple of months, maybe a year. Now you're running the whole show. What was it in the first 3 months that you just like, wait, I think I actually want to stay here a little longer? Maybe this is a purpose and not just a paycheck.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Within 3 months, I knew this was a place I was never going to leave. And the purpose was twofold. The population, the IDD community, just stole my heart. But also, there was something specifically about Athelis that felt like family on another level with the team working towards a common goal. And 17 years later, I'm still here.
And for those that may not know what the IDD community is, explain
Sure.
a little more on that.
Sure. People with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
Love it. And this is your first, I wouldn't say your first experience because they are in the world, but was this your first kind of environment where you're really working with them? Is that what it was?
It was my first experience working with people with IDD in the adult community. I had a small stint as a special education teacher prior to coming to Athelis.
Okay, so tell us about that. So before you even get here, you were already in the education world?
Just for 1 year.
Oh, just that was it. It just you found greater callings, right? What kept you saying yes to growth when it would have been easier to just leave?
I think it was just the need and the disparities in healthcare that this population often faces. I like to see problems as a challenge and be a part of the team that fixes those problems.
And you're leading with so much heart and what's really what makes the work feel different from other parts of the healthcare system? I can imagine you could be doing anything in the healthcare, but why is this one so different to you?
It doesn't feel like work. Most days, it does not feel like work. I'm excited when I get up. I'm excited to see my team. I'm most excited when I see the people in our services. So there's a lot to be said for that.
And I think you mentioned that the organization also put you through grad school. Is that correct?
Yeah, they were a big help supporting my master's degree and my doctorate program.
You can't get mad at that. Listen, an organization that want to invest in you and really pour into you, that's a good organization. That doesn't happen often.
It's kind of an unofficial slogan that we have, and this was running well before I was the CEO. If we invest in our people, then they invest back in the organization, and I think that just strengthens us.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Chantel, because I think the last time, matter of fact, what do you actually prefer people to call you? Dr. Taylor, Dr. Chantel, Chantel? What do you really go by these days?
Just Chantel, I don't want anybody call me doctor. Um,
I last time we spoke, but we said this offline was you have all these awards behind you. Of course, I'm gonna have to call it out because this is just not just any ordinary awards. If you can look back at that wall or on that table, which one means the most to you?
Actually, and it's off camera a little bit and you can't see it. It was in my first year working here. It was called a Shining Star Award. It was given to me by and signed by our executive director, who was also the founder of the agency, and that one means the most to me.
Wow. I mean, you have so much accomplishment. Is this all your degrees, all the different things? Can you give us some of the awards that you've earned behind you?
Sure. There's leading women under 40. That was my first year in the CEO role here. And the following year, I got outstanding CEO, and those were both from the Daily Record.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Amazing. I think we didn't really get to talk too much about it, but such an amazing thing. And I know we don't ever really ask for these awards or for, even for this conversation, right? A lot of times we highlight leaders. It's not that we do it for, we really do it because we love what we do, but we also love the leadership that comes with that. You know, we love the resources. There's so many people that are aspiring to be into these places, especially our young leaders. You didn't step into leadership overnight, though. You grew into it, one challenge at a time. How did that one sentence, if I ever ran this place, shape your leadership today?
So, being here for so long and holding so many different roles at different levels, I would often say, well, if I was in charge or if I had the authority, this is what I would do, or this is how I would do it, or this is what I would add. And, you just say those things when you're talking to your peers. And as my roles elevated, I did gain more authority and more ability to make changes. And the people who were my peers all along remind me regularly of the things I said throughout my career here, which is great because it holds me accountable and keeps me grounded.
Was that a difficult switch to go from just working with your colleagues to now you're overlooking your colleagues? Was there a shift in the mind that you had to kind of make? Did you see some, I would say, some kind of pushback when you got to that level? Like, what that experience look like for you?
I think I anticipated it to be uncomfortable until it happened. And then I realized I don't need to change at all. We're still members of a team, we still have the same common goal. And I have never led with directives and demands. I'm more like, how can I help? So when the team sees me coming, my hope has always been great, another pair of hands to help or another brain to help us problem solve. So even though I anticipated it being a little uncomfortable, it truly wasn't. It felt very natural.
I love it. And 17 years in this organization, I can only imagine that sometimes um, you go through this mental block. Like, how are you staying so creative? 17 years later, when we talk about organizations, we got to be innovative. We got to be creative. And I can imagine that you've probably done so much. Is it a team effort? Is it using maybe a little ChatGPT to get us started on some ideas? What does that look like?
Well, I think it helps that I don't like to be bored. And every day is different here just by the nature of the services we provide, but also that allows for creativity and brainstorming. What new can we do? How can we make this better? How can we link up with the community to show them that we're here? And how can we help them? How can they help us? So there's always something new and creative to be done here.
I love that. What were you going to be doing if 3 months in this wasn't your thing? I know you mentioned that this was just kind of to add to the resume. What were you going to be doing, Chantel, if this wasn't it?
The plan was always to go to grad school and get my master's in counseling psychology, become licensed as a therapist, and go run a private practice one day. So I did all of those things except for going to run a private practice one day because I realized that education and those skills and that licensure could complement Atlas in so many different ways. So I've kind of married the two things together.
I love that. And take us on a day to day in the organization. You get in, you got so many programs. What are some of these programs? How are people getting serviced by the organization?
Sure. So we support all adults over the age of 21 in a variety of services. It's really person centered and based on their needs. Most of our service recipients are in a Medicaid waiver, which defines their service lines, but we deliver the service in a very personalized way. We figure out what supports the person needs and we find a way to put it in the appropriate service bucket. So we have people who come to us daily who get job assistance, trying to find employment in the community or maintain community employment, people who come for social skills, for a meaningful day, community integration. We have community living group homes, which are staffed 24 hours a day. We provide transportation. We have behavioral health services. We have nursing services. We provide staffing to go into people's own homes to help them with certain things or integrate them into the community. So it's very varied.
Yeah. That's what you said. Every day is just a different day.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to be today, but you know it's going to be a fun day. You're going to have to think outside the box, maybe a little bit of everything, and just going outside this box. AI really is where everyone's kind of talking about trying to go outside the box and trying to figure out how AI can really help their business. And what I'm really hearing is like, at one point it was AI going to take jobs, but now we're hearing AI is really helping a company feel like they're just doubling in size by just placing a product, a tool. Are you guys kind of dipping your toe into that world? Have you guys see how AI aligns within the organization, or are you guys still figuring out, wait, maybe we shouldn't get there yet?
Maybe just a very small portion of our toe is being dipped into that world. I mean, it was a struggle for us to move from paper to electronic systems, and we're still kind of living in both worlds. AI, we have a lot of things to consider. We work with protected health information. We have to follow HIPAA, but it is very helpful when writing grants. I will say that.
Have you seen a tool out there that you? Because sometimes it's as you mentioned, if you're not completely digital, it's kind of hard to get into the AI world because it's all about data. It's what you input. So have you found something though that you was like, you know what? Once we get to that point, I would love to incorporate this and see how this can actually move us forward.
Nothing specific. I mean, there's global strategic talks about how we can use AI and different technologies, but we haven't even gotten to the point where we have the capacity to nail that down and kind of formalize it.
Yeah, yeah, no, I hear you. It's moving so fast, and so many people are in the game. It's like, where do I go? What is really works for us? You know, because everyone's going to tell you everything works. So, 100% agree. Um,
And
we
we're
talked
so
about.
people focused. It's hard for us to think about electronic systems.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that. Human services are just when you mentioned like behind. I feel when it comes to organizations, sometimes we are behind in tech, and yet you're finding smart ways to still move forward. I believe you just kind of mentioned, hey, we're in the process of at least going from paper to electronic. That's huge. You know, that's
Yeah.
definitely a step forward. Anything else that you guys have in store when it comes to just tech? Maybe it's not AI, but how you continue to help your community grow stronger and be able to do so many more things.
We've really been integrating ourselves into the community so that the community knows we're here and they know the great things we're doing. But what we're finding too is the community wants to help us. So
Yeah.
building those community relationships has been great. And also recognizing health disparities for our population that are in the community, one specifically being behavioral health. So we've been trying to build relationships with the behavioral health community, but maybe my level of impatience and the great need that there is has prompted us to open a new service line, and we're going to be opening an outpatient mental health clinic specifically for the IDD community.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And listen, moving the needle forward. I love it.
Yeah.
Do you recall a story that I'm pretty sure there's many, but a story that comes to mind that really just allows you to feel like this is why I do it. You know, this is why I come to work, and this is why I pour into the way I have into this organization for the last 17 years. A story comes to mind when we talk about that.
You're right, there probably is a million stories that I could tell. I'll take it from the approach of when I do get frustrated with the bureaucracy or the politics or the paperwork that needs to be done. My reprieve is I go to the programs. The people we support are always happy to see me. They cheer me up. Um, they consider us family. It's not one specific story, but it's that connection. It's the intangible, and that's what makes it all worth it. And if you ask any of our directors or administrative people where their happiest place is, it's not in our offices. It's when we leave and we go to the programs.
Yeah, I can imagine being center, you know, front and center, and just really hands on. I think that's what really, when I think about, and we're going to go back to AI, but that's what I really think about AI is how do we implement things that allows us to do less of the things that we really don't like, paperwork, admin, and allow us to really, as you said, get front and center with our communities because that's really what is all about. You know, that's where our cups are being filled is when we're physically doing the work. But what's so cool about you as well is that you don't lead from the title because clearly the first thing I says is what do we call you? You said Chantel's fine, so it's
Yeah.
not about the doctor, but it definitely does open doors, right? That truly matter. What shifted for you once you started to own that title and using it more as advocate? Because that's what you do. You advocate for your community.
I think it gets me a more of a seat at certain tables outside of the IDD world, whether dealing with legislators, county executives, state level people. It at least can get my foot in the door, and maybe that's my perception. I haven't had the title long, but no, internally I absolutely don't use it, but I will use it if it can help support the people in our services in some way.
Hey, real quick, if you enjoying the podcast, we first want to say thank you. And we also just want to give you a little insight of what we're up to at Francis. Some don't even realize that we're working with organizations to help them use AI to create that real human communication experiences, whether that's actually supporting your families, those patients, or the entire community. We're actually creating tech that connects. Check it out, francis.ai. That is so funny. Wherever I can use it, you know, I'm going to use it. Have you felt that there was a moment where your voice made a difference?
Yes, many times. And it's really on the individual advocacy level. It's advocating for funding for people who really need services, who don't have anybody else to advocate for them. That's those are the most purposeful voices that I have.
When you think about leadership, some would say that you're born with it. Some would say life experience brings you to where you're at today. When you think about leadership and who you are as a leader, who are you taking from? Who's pouring into you, Chantelle? I mean, going back, you're 17 years here now. You're sitting at the head of the table. I can imagine there were some people that you still like. Man, I'm so happy that I met this person and that I was able to do X, Y, Z with them, or they taught me. And maybe it's a bad thing. Maybe you learned something that they were doing bad that allows you to really be good at what you do. So, who is those people that kind of led you to this journey?
I don't think I'm a natural born leader. I never considered myself a leader until other people told me I was,
Hmm.
because I do it quietly by lifting other people up and letting
Yeah,
them
that's the
shine.
leader. Yeah.
I don't want the spotlight. I don't want to public speak. That's never been my calling, but lifting other people up certainly has. And I've had people professionally and personally that have helped me realize that's what a true leader is. I was
Hmm.
defining it wrong initially. I had a supervisor here for many, many years, and she taught me much of what I know and how to lead. And it really was truly to just be a part of the team. Don't tell the team what to do. That was one of the most valuable lessons I've ever learned.
That was a really good one. When I think about leadership, there's so many things that we can learn from people, and sometimes it's the smallest things that just resonate with us. You know, that's actually such a good one as well. Was you mentioned that the award that was given to you was from the founder of the organization? Still person, still involved and around?
No. He ran
Passed
the
away?
organization until 2017. Yeah.
Oh, so you took over from the founder.
There was an interim person for a few years, and then I took
Wow.
over in 22.
So good, so good. And you're proof of that where you start doesn't really limit where you can lead, you know?
Right. I never would have guessed this.
Yeah, just do it, just being you, and that's what's so good about being you. And I hope that leaders, when they listen to this, is just be you. You know, love what you do as well. You know, just because you said you wanted to add a little piece to your resume, you still went in there and gave it 100%, and realized that you got so much more back because you went in there and gave 100%. For someone that's in an entry level right now, what would you tell them about what's possible?
Make sure you love what you do, and if you do, give it your all and the best you can. And you're going
Love.
to make mistakes, and that's okay because that's how you learn.
Was there a mistake that you made that may have cost you something, but you learned from it?
Actually, there was probably many along the way, and the theme of those mistakes would be I probably tried to rush some form of paperwork somewhere along the line, or cut a corner here or there, and it ended up costing me more time in the long run to fix it down the road.
Time is everything. You know, I was just having a conversation. I was like, you know, sometimes it's like, how do I buy back time? Because sometimes you just feel like I need two, three of me. So yeah, you know, whenever time you have to spend more time doing X, Y, Z, it really does become a challenge. But those are that's the beauty about just being a leader is that you're going to make mistakes, but it's how do you learn from those mistakes? And that's really life in general. Like
Yeah.
there's going to be mistakes, there's going to be failures, and how do you continue to just keep moving the needle forward and keep? To me, I love failing, believe it or not, because I felt like, oh, I learned something here today, and every day should be a day that you learn something, right?
I,
So
I agree. And I think a really important piece of that is to let the team know when you failed. Like, leaders are not perfect people. We make lots of mistakes. And it's important for people to recognize that because you can learn from it.
yeah, 100%. What is your go-to when you're not working, but you need to like relax? Like some people would say gardening, some people would say I'm going hiking, or do you have that go-to thing where you just want to kind of um, almost take yourself out of the day-to-day and really feel comfortable and at peace and one with yourself?
I laughed because it was hard to think of like a time when I'm not working or thinking about work. But I do really enjoy cycling,
Oh,
reading,
really?
and I
I
have a 7-year-old, so lots of playing Barbies.
Okay. I same. I have a 4 year old, and best believe every time I'm in the house that she is like, "Hey, can we do this? Can we do that? Can you read me a book?" And I was like, "Yeah, we definitely got to have energy, huh?" Like,
Yeah, yeah.
people don't realize that you're running an organization, but you got to go home, and then there's also a household that you're running, and there's little kids that don't care how tired you are and how long of a day you had or whatever. It's how old is your child?
7.
Oh, yeah, yeah, still in that really young age. Playing dress up, probably.
Oh yeah, all of the things.
Yeah, my daughter, I love it. You'll be surprised. Sometimes I'm coming back, and then she'll come back in a whole new outfit. She got something on top of her head. She got a little purse. She's ready to go somewhere. Like I have no idea where she's going, but she's definitely going somewhere. It,
Oh,
do you feel like your daughter? You only have just one?
yes.
What was the biggest lesson you felt that she taught you?
She taught me that, quite frankly, she taught me that work is very important, but it is not the most important thing. And
Mm,
that was a lesson that I had to be taught because I was not learning it on my own for her.
yeah, that's so good. Kids, to me, I if this is me probably just being funny, but I felt like patience was the biggest thing I learned.
Yeah.
Because especially when they're so young, like my son right now, my very mommy's boy. He's one
Okay.
years old. About to be two. And because he's breastfeeding, mommy's everything. So at nighttime, he was nothing to do with me. He would sit here and fight me. It's just the weirdest thing. Because now this morning, before I get on this call, he is Dada. I want Dada, and I'm like, yeah, really? Because last night you didn't want me, okay? So it is having being patient because sometimes he would sit there. Maybe she walked into the shower, and he'll sit there until she comes out, just crying, just fighting me. And I'm sitting here like, as a dad, it just bothers the heck out of me. I was like, one day I'm just gonna have to be patient. There goes patience again. I'm gonna have to be
Yep.
patient. He's gonna come around, right? Dad's gonna be that guy for him. It happened with my daughter, but I love it. I love being a parent. It truly does help us lead as individuals, and realize that it's not about us. I mean, I think you already knew that, Dr. Chantel, and the 17 years you've been in this organization, that it wasn't never about just you. It's how you can improve somebody else's life with resources, with sometimes just a simple conversation. So I love that. What do you want your leadership to actually ripple out and change? Not just at the organization level, but beyond that.
That's a great question. Um, and I know I've been answering a lot of these questions through the realm of our service recipients, but our staff are amazing people. We have 325 employees and they do really hard work every day. And then they go home to their communities. So, what we focus on with them is us building relationships with them. And, like we said earlier, pouring into them, I guess, in hopes that that ripples out in their own lives and all the people that they touch.
Is this something that's just local to where you guys are at, or is this something that it's in different states, different counties?
We're just focused in 2 counties in Maryland.
Maryland. But the goal is one day, hopefully, to expand, right, Chantel? To give your services. I mean, I don't know how you're going to extend yourself, but to give the services to others. I think it's so good that what you guys are doing, and definitely a need, right?
Yeah.
I think sometimes people don't even have these conversations enough. So that's why it was really exciting to know that we were able to have this conversation today, because I truly do think at times people don't put enough attention to it, kind of turn the blind eye to it. And especially now we're government funding, these are very challenging times. We really want
Very.
to be able to show up and really, when we talk about creative earlier and thinking outside the box, these are the times where we have to think outside the box, right? And
Absolutely.
because if whatever organization was looking for or receiving government fundings and receiving those cuts, and what people don't realize is it wasn't just the nonprofits being affected, the healthcare industry is being affected. The way that people are showing up now to don't or doesn't want to show up, especially with the whole not just the government funding, but the whole ISIS situation. People are just scared to leave their houses. We're in some challenging times, and I'm happy that you still show up with a smile. You still understand that there's work to get done. Still planting that flag in the ground and says, hey, we're here to stay, and we're going to keep moving the needle, whatever that may look like. Is there anything that you guys maybe implemented within the last year that you guys are excited about?
Really, it's the development of that new service delivery line for behavioral health, specifically for the IDD community. Closing the gap on that health disparity is something that's very near and dear to me.
I love that. And what could people find the organization? What is the website? You guys got any social medias or anything like that?
We do. Our website is www.athelesinstitute.org, and we are on Facebook as Atheles Institute.
And are you on LinkedIn if somebody wanted to reach out to you and maybe pick your brain?
Yeah, absolutely. And I speak to people on LinkedIn all the time. I'm there as Dr. Chantelle Taylor.
Love it. What if when people are reaching out, are they actually trying to get insights on what the organization is doing or some of your leadership skills? What do you love to talk most about with people?
I love to talk most about the people we support and the direct support staff who are there providing the service and just educating people. If you're not from this world, you don't even know it exists. And we're here, we're in communities, we're helping people. And unless you're personally touched by this or have a family member, you have no idea about the great work that's being done, quite frankly, next door to you.
What does your daughter think about the work that you do?
I think she just thinks it's normal because I bring her to company
That's so
events
good.
and like she accepts everybody's differences, and I think that's a wonderful thing for a child to see that humans are just different and they're wonderful in their own ways.
Yeah, I mentioned this before on the podcast, but my daughter, I have a niece. I have a niece and a nephew, and she looks at my daughter or my niece, and she's like, "Why is she like that? Like, why is she on the floor and she's X Y Z?" And my niece, that is 16 years old, which is the older sister of my younger niece, she says, "We're all different, and that's just who she is. But we love her for who she is." And I didn't even have to answer. And I looked at her. I'm like, yeah, that was the answer right there. Like,
That's
what
the
a good
right
way to
point.
answer. Yeah, we're all made differently,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make it any different. We're still humans. We still love to be loved, empathy, compassion. All that still matters to us. And I always make it a a point to whenever I walk into my sister's house that I acknowledge them because I think a lot of times they're not acknowledged, right? And show them love, and it truly makes a difference, And my nephew that is 6, 7 years old, he um he wouldn't let me go after that. I went in and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And he wanted me to hold him like a little baby the whole time. And my sister was like, "He never does that." But it shows the difference when you just show the acknowledgement and that they're there and that they're seen. Because maybe sometimes they physically can't speak, but that doesn't mean that they can't communicate. We communicate so many
Absolutely.
different ways, and I'm pretty sure you experience that all the time. Is that there's so many different ways to communicate, and it's how do we still meet them at where they're at, in a sense, right? And let them know that they're still loved and help them. There's so many ways that you guys are helping them just navigate life. I think that's so cool that you guys are doing that. Well, what is next for you? Like, are you gonna go and get another degree, or that's it? You're done?
No more school.
Yeah, I kudos to you to get through and get your doctorates though. Where did you get your doctorates from?
University of Virginia in Lynchburg.
Okay, all right, I love it. Well, listen, it's time to get in the hot seat. Are you excited for this blind question? I know.
I am excited and nervous. Those feelings
No,
feel the
no,
same.
no. They do. They definitely do. I tell people all the time before I get on a podcast, believe it or not, I usually get a little nervous, but I'm excited. And it's that good nervous and excited is how do we channel it, right? And I think we're both doing a great job here. What's one risk you took as a leader that scared you, but looking back really changed everything?
Honestly, probably accepting this position. It's something I have wanted for a really long time. And the next day after I accepted it, I was like, oh no, who do I go to for advice? What if it goes wrong? It's my fault. Like, what if I make a poor decision? So just that doubt, I think, in the beginning, and then kind of that feeling of imposter syndrome, like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, is this for me? And the more I continue in the position, the more I'm reminded that my team is amazing and we're doing great things. And so I would have regretted forever if I did not take this position.
I tell you, I always love when a leader says, "My team is amazing," but you know what? That team cannot be amazing without a great coach. You know, you are that coach, ideally. And sometimes we don't give ourselves the credit. But you know what? That's 17 years in the making, 17 years of learning, 17 years of doing the frontline work. You know, you bring so much experience to the table as well. I can imagine that the organization, I think you mentioned 300 plus, is that correct?
Yes.
That they come from all different backgrounds. That they've some of them with you for some time, some may be new, but it's you as the environment, as the energy you put out there that allows people to continue to come back and be passionate about the work they do. I think that's so important. It's people like yourself that show up as yourself and that really care for people and care for the work that you actually do. It doesn't happen. You don't see it often, you know. So kudos to you. I know you sometimes we don't want to give ourselves the credit. I'll give it to you. I'll give you that credit.
I want to push that all down to my team.
I know you do. What is your blind question to the next leader we have here on the Heart and Hustle?
Well, when I was thinking about this, actually, I am going to reuse a question I was asked by one of our staff a couple of weeks ago. So,
Okay.
my blind question to the next person is, how do you become successful?
How do you become? And it's such a good question. It's kind of a almost simple but good because it really makes you think. I love it, Doctor. I love it, Dr. Chantelle Taylor. It has been a pleasure to really talk to you. Thank you so much. For those young aspiring leaders that want to do what you do, is there any advice?
Just join a field that you're passionate about and work really hard, and everything else will follow.
Guys, this has been on the Heart and Hustle podcast. Dr. Chantelle Taylor, Efrain. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Laters.